Do you want to really be able to love yourself and your life? Like, not just when things are going well or when you're getting external validation from others. Look, this episode is for you if you want to learn how to really love yourself, like for real, and how to love your life. I want you to know I've been there. I spent years where I put my worth and my value and my ability to love myself in the hands of what I couldn't control, but what felt like I could control, which were my performance, the affirmation and applause of others, success, and even dating the right people. And ultimately, what I found is that I loved myself when I got the positive feedback and when things were going well. But when it didn't, it felt like my world and my worth were caving in on me. Like I would have to grasp for whatever I could to rebuild myself. I felt like I was constantly searching for who I was, who the world wanted me to be. And I felt disconnected from the real version of me that I am. So you're not alone if you feel this way too. And I have good news for you. In this episode, I'm going to be coaching on exactly how to start the renovation process of your mind. That's going to help you redesign. We're going to redesign how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your life so that you can really love yourself and really love your life. Welcome to the Confidence Podcast. Let's dive in. You're listening to the Confidence Podcast, your go-to for boldness, motivation, and actionable confidence tips. I'm your host, Trish Blackwell, confidence coach, best-selling author, and founder of the College of Confidence. I help go-getters like you master self-talk, quiet self-doubt, and step into the life you were created for. You're here for more, and today's episode will help you claim it. Let's dive in and let's train those confidence muscles. Hey guys, it's Trish Blackwell, and you're listening to the Confidence Podcast. This is episode number 625, and we're talking in today's episode on how to really love yourself and how to love your life. This was actually a listener requested topic. I don't know if you know, but I'm always looking for feedback and to hear from you guys on what you want me to dive in more, where you feel like you need more strategies in your life. And so thank you to my listeners who have requested this topic. I want you to walk away from today's episode with some very tangible next steps. So I'm going to be sharing with you three specific ways on how to love yourself, three specific ways to love your life, and even better, three specific ways on how to love your future. Because together, those three elements, loving yourself, loving your life, and loving what is to come, will take your level of joy and confidence up a notch. Your experience of life entirely will be improved. I want you to know this. You are in control of your experience of life. And you might be thinking, well, that's not true. You don't know what hand of cards I've gotten and the struggles that I have. And you're right. But I do know this. Life is what you make of it. And we are all given cards. We're each given a hand of cards to play. It's how you play your cards that matters. It's what you do with what you have that matters. It's how you think about your life, about yourself, that creates your feelings. I teach my students in my group coaching program, the College of Confidence, that your thoughts create your emotions, right? Your thoughts create your emotions, and from our emotions, we take action. I call that the T method. And that sequence of events perpetuates and creates momentum in your life. And so the way you think about an experience, the way you think about yourself will absolutely transform for the better or for the worst, how you feel about yourself. And I want you to know every day is an opportunity to question, investigate, and think about your thoughts. And I want you to know, transparently, I've been doing this work for 12 years. And there are still days where my mind is a mess. I call those thoughts my trashy Trish thoughts. They are sort of just, my brain sometimes struggles to find the positive. And I find myself going and reverting back to self-critical, self-judging, negative thoughts about myself, about my body. And what I do when I notice that happening, I stop. I acknowledge it. I get curious and say, I wonder where these thoughts are coming from. And then I ask myself, when a thought feels very true, but I know it's not, I have to very directly say, is it true? And it's amazing. And sometimes it can feel emotionally exhausting to battle back and forth with your thoughts. But I want you to know it is worth it. If you want to love yourself, if you want to love your life, this is the work that is required to do it. Because in order to love your life, and it does not, I don't want you to think that that means you're going to have a perfect life. There's no such thing as a perfect life. I want you to live a big life. I want you to have an extraordinary life. And that doesn't just happen by luck. It's not the lucky people that do that. It's the intentional people. It's intentionally knowing what you want for your life, what you want for your future, who you want to be, what version, what best expression of who God made you to be that you want to be. And then to then do the intentional work on a day-to-day basis of focusing your mind, of renewing your strength, of renewing your mindset and your belief system to keep growing and to fight off negativity or anything that's going to keep you in a drifting state. So what you believe about yourself is what you end up creating. What you believe about your potential is what you end up maximizing. What you believe about your worth and your future is what you create. So it's really critical that we create some good beliefs here. Now, what is a belief? A belief is simply a thought that you've repeated over and over enough to make it true. That a belief is a thought that you have heard so often that it starts to resonate. That is all we're doing here. So in today's episode, we're going to identify, who do you want to be? How do you want to live? And who do you want to become? What do you want your future to be? I came across some concepts recently, and I did a post on Instagram about this. It was resonating with a lot of people. If you want to check it out, go to my Insta, which is Trish_Blackwell. Here's the truth. You have a choice every day. The choice to make the assumption that your day is going to be hard, or the choice to assume that your day is going to be great, that everything is working for you, that the trials, the struggles, the setback, the challenges are all for your good. When you start assuming that the things that are quote unquote happening to you are not happening to you in life, but rather happening for you, you start changing the way you think. You start changing what you believe. You start believing that life is good and that the person you're becoming through the struggles that you're struggling with are actually things to be celebrated, that you can like yourself even if you're not the version that you want to be yet. I am not who I want to be yet. I am really proud of the Trish I have become because she's very different this year than she was last year, than she was 10 years ago. But I still love the older versions of me, and you can too. But I had to go through changes and metamorphosis to become who I want to be today. So I may not be yet where I want to be, but I am not who I once was. And the same can be for you. And that's the beauty of a growth mindset. And when you assume that life is for you, it will be. Things will start working out more. If you will show up more confident simply by making the choice that life is working for you, that you are not a fixed set person. You see, I used to struggle with loving myself because I thought that my best days were gone. I thought that the glory days were 18, 19, 20. I thought that if I wasn't pretty then, according to my own standards, I would never be pretty enough for the right person to love, for the attention that I was craving. I was such a performer, high achiever, perfectionist, and so attached to people's affirmation and people's applause. I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be elected to all the things. I wanted to be captain of all the sports teams, and I wanted perfect grades, and I wanted to be president of the student body. And y'all, I got all of that. I wanted to date the pro athletes. Check the box. Like I did all of it. Because I didn't know who I was doing all of that in order to feel valuable. And I went around it backwards. When you put your confidence and your value in what you achieve or who is affirming of you, you're really building your self-worth castle on sand. And if we go back to one of my favorite proverbs is the foolish man builds his house upon the sand. I don't want to build a house on the sand. I've seen houses built on sand, right? You've seen that viral video in the Outer Banks of the beautiful home getting swept out to sea. I think that was from some erosion, but I want to build my house on the rocks. I want a firm foundation. And when you know who you are, you can love yourself. See, the problem is most of us don't love ourselves. We don't know how to love ourselves because we go, okay, I guess I'll do some self-care, sing some kumbaya, say some affirmations, and then like myself. But how do I like myself if I'm still struggling with the same negative habits? How can I like myself if I'm 10 pounds heavier than I want to be? How can I like myself and love myself when I'm not on the way to the goals that I want, or I find myself raising my voice at my kids, or I didn't get into the law school that I want? Because we're putting our affirmation, our value on the wrong things. In order to learn to really, really love yourself, you have to actually know yourself. You have to know who you are. And that's where we have to spend some time. I used to put my worth in if the right man liked me. If this famous person saw value in me, then I would see value in me. I dated a string of people while I was seeking and figuring out who I was that I very easily fell into that. And I say that because I don't want you to have any judgment on any decisions that you have made to this point of where you got your self-worth. I have compassion on the version of Trish who was seeking and trying to figure out how to love herself. And what I've learned since then is that until you know who you are, you can't love yourself. And often too many of us say to stay too busy to know who we are. We are checking the boxes. We are climbing the corporate ladder. We're going from college to grad school to the next thing. And then we're just following what we're supposed to do. And we live such busy, focused, filled and overflowing lives, which is a good thing, but we spin our wheels and we stay busy. Look, I said earlier, I want a big life. Big is different than busy. I want a big life. And for me, I have defined and done the work of what a big life means. A big life means spending 5 days in the Bahamas like I just did with my kids. A big life means going back to Puerto Rico in a couple of weeks, going to Australia this summer, having the time to read a book on the back of my deck, getting curious, creating value in the world that helps change people's lives, thinking expansively about the wealth that I can create and what that wealth can do for good in the world, for the causes I love. I want a big life, not a busy life. But so many of us think that the route to success is busyness. And so in the pursuit of our achievements of what we think that we want, we lose ourselves because we don't spend time with ourselves. And it's really hard to love yourself if you don't spend time with yourself. And believe me, I spent years of my life running away from spending time with myself. So what I want to walk you through here is 3 sections. We're going to talk about how do you love yourself, how do you love your life, and then how can you love your future. And I wanted to say for the record, if you are new to the show, welcome. I'm so happy that you found this podcast. And if you have been here with me, I'm so happy that you're here too. If these are topics you want to go deeper on, I just want to personally invite you to come check out the College of Confidence. That is my group life coaching program that really goes into, we have entire courses and sections and workshops and workbooks to help you break down these elements in a self-paced way that you do in the privacy of your own home at your own speed, at your own time. And the COC, the College of Confidence, is exactly how you can build the building blocks of this foundation to love yourself and to love your life from wherever you're starting. But again, to love yourself and to love your life and to love your future, you have to know first who you are and you have to know what you want from life. What is it that you want? So knowing how to love yourself starts with your 1.0 self and your 2.0 self. That is, your 1.0 is like who you are today. Think about the Apple phone. It came out, we are almost on the iPhone 16. So the Apple iPhone came out 16 years ago. So 16 years ago, the iPhone, revolutionary phone. So not that the Apple phone was a bad phone, but I don't want the original iPhone right now. I want the iPhone 16. It's not that iPhone was bad at the time. At the time, it was the best that you could get. That was great. But with time and intention and renovation and curiosity and improvement, the iPhone got better and better and better and better and better. The same thing with you, your 1.0 you versus your 2.0 you. So first we have to know who is your 1.0 you. And I want you to be thankful for that version of you. If we don't judge that, we say, gosh, I could see my effort. I see who I was. I can see my desire for more. Let's be curious about who that version of you is and be thankful for their willingness to go do things in the world, to go be brave, to go take the risks, to whatever it took, for the lessons that that version of you has gone through. And then the next thing to do is to create it sounds so, please don't laugh at how corny this sounds, but an I like me list. I need you to figure out what you like about you. And to do that, set a timer on your phone for 10 minutes and literally ask yourself, what is it about being me that I like? Why do my friends like me? Why does my employer like me? Why does my boss? Why does my spouse? Why does my boyfriend? Why does my girlfriend? Why does my dog like me? Like, what about me do other people like? So that will get you started. And then really go, why do I like me? I like and you can even say, why do I like being me? I like my zest for life. I like my curiosity. I like my nerdiness. I like my hyper speed. Like, what is it about you? I like my big giant smile. What about you do you like? Spend 10 minutes. Come up with at least 15 things about being you that you like. Maybe you like your passion for animals. Maybe you like your passion for your faith. Maybe you like the way your brain thinks critically, or maybe how it thinks creatively. But slow down and take the time to reflect. And this is the start of spending time with yourself. Another way to start spending time with yourself is to take yourself out to dinner with a journal. Like, for me, journaling is the way I spend time with myself. And I would start this process. I used to go to a movie and then I would journal my thoughts about the movie. And sometimes I would just take walks by myself with no stimulus, right? No phone, no music, and just think about what I'm thinking about. Start to have conversations with myself and be curious the way I would with a friend. How do we build friendships with other people? By spending time with them, by having fun with them, by exploring interests with them, and by learning to trust them. And the same thing goes with yourself. You have to know who you are. You have to figure out what you like about yourself, and you have to spend time with yourself. And once you do that, and you start identifying, I like that I'm so driven. I like that I'm really organized. You start going, I like that I'm so hospitable, right? Once you know what you like about who you are, you can start leaning into that inside part of you. And once you do that, you can go, man, I just love that. I do love me. So to answer the question of how do you love yourself, you first have to know yourself. And I'm giving you the kind of the very, very intro version of this. We have a lot of resources in the College of Confidence that go into depth and guide you through how to spend time with yourself, how to journal, how to do all these things. But then the next step of how to love yourself is your 2.0 self. So we've identified the 1.0. We know we also have to figure out what do we like and who are we? And then 2.0 self is to decide who you want to be and decide that you are becoming her. Who do you want to be? And then start loving that version of yourself now. So I love that I'm becoming more patient. I'm not as patient as I want to be yet, but I already love that version of Trish who is. I love that version of Trish who's even more bold in her business and in how she teaches and succinct in her tools and steps. I'm not there yet, but I love her already because I believe that growth is inevitable. And one of the things that when you decide who you are, the better you can describe your future self that you're becoming, the more realistic it will be that you become her or him. And if you aren't sure how to do this, one of the resources I do have that I will make sure it's listed in the show notes is I have a future self calculator. That's part of my my consistency tracker and growth mindset spreadsheet bundle. We are currently selling it for like $27. You can get it at trishblackwell.com/consistency. And in that tracker bundle, there is a whole tab that is the future self calculator. In that, there's a step-by-step spreadsheet. It's actually really motivating to fill out, where you're going to figure out who am I now, and then we then decide who do we want to be? Who is the future self? What kind of habits does that future self have? What kind of beliefs does that person have versus who I am? Because once you identify who you are and who you are becoming, that's the work that we do in coaching, is to bridge the gap of where you are. So now that's how you love yourself. How do you love your life? You get obsessed with gratitude. If you don't yet have a gratitude habit, please start writing down 5 gratitudes a day. I don't care if it's on a Post-it. I also recommend the 333 method, which is gratitude based. That's part of that consistency and growth tracker bundle I mentioned. So there's an electronic version of the 333 method in that bundle. Again, that's trishblackwell.com/consistent. But getting very intentional about your practice of gratitude will change the way you see your life. It will deepen your appreciation for things. It is a habit, and our habits create massive results. And the small habit, do not underestimate the incredible power of taking 3 minutes to take pen and paper or hands to keyboard and writing down and slowing down and acknowledging and giving thanks for this incredible, beautiful life that you have as is. Now you're up, but Trish, my life is not incredible or beautiful. I challenge you. I bet it is. I'm not saying there's not things that are going wrong. I'm not saying maybe you're walking through tragedy or trauma, but there's still good, right? And the more you practice saying, I will find the good, I will give thanks. This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and give thanks in it. This is not the perfect day. This is not this is the day I will give thanks for the breath of life. Life is not guaranteed. Death is guaranteed. How do I give thanks for the life that I do have today in this moment? While knowing I want it to change, I'm committed to it getting better. Or there might be things maybe you just had the most awful, epic, terrible travel day. How do you give thanks in the travel day? Maybe you had a 20-hour delay at an airport and you're stuck. It was terrible. And, everything that could go wrong went wrong. How do you find thanks in that? How do you find gratitude in that? You had a roof over your head. You had clean drinking water to drink. You probably had other passengers to commiserate with. You probably got airline vouchers for some free snacks. You're like, yeah, but I missed this part of my vacation, right? They didn't let you on an airplane that was maybe broken. Give thanks for that. That's a gratitude. I'm so thankful there are mechanics that realized that this plane was not safe to fly, that then disrupted me, but kept me alive. There's always a way to be grateful. So when you have an obsession with gratitude, your ability to love life will skyrocket. The second thing is to do more of what you love. You guys, I don't want a busy life. I want a big life. But in order to have a big life, I need to do more of what I love. Maybe and it doesn't have to be big things. You guys, I love travel, so you're always going to hear examples of travel, but maybe you love bowling. And you maybe only have to travel 2 miles to your bowling alley. Bowling or reading or writing or doing art or pottery or reading historical articles and whatever it is. Do more of what you love. Do you love hiking? Do you love spending time with your kids? Do you love playing with your dog at the dog park? Do more of that. Do more of that. Let's do less screens and more of a very intentional, proactive life we love. And then design your life. Now, I'm going to have a resource coming out probably in the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned on how to really deliberately design your life. Because I think a lot of times, and I've had feedback from people who see my social media or hear about the things I'm doing with my family, and they think, wow, you have a big, I actually had someone close to me say, well, you're different, you have a big life. As if it just magically fell on my lap. No, I created a big life, and I'm just getting started. And it's as available to you as it is to me. I'm not special. I'm just intentional. And I did the work and the reflection work, which seems so easy, but it's actually really hard to go, what is it that I actually want from life? What do I feel God calling me to do? What impact do I want to make in the world? What do I want to be remembered for? What is a beautiful big life to me? I asked those questions. And when you ask good questions, you get good answers. And so once you have the answer of what you want, you start designing your life and your habits to design to create the outcomes of that. This is the deeper level work that we do in my coaching and with my students in the College of Confidence, which means you have to manage your time. You have to prepare your money. You have to be curious. You look at life as an adventure. And the other thing, I have a couple power phrases that are going to sound simple that help me love my life more. And it's so, don't laugh. It's really not profound. It's just saying, I love my life. Gosh, I love my life. let's just say your dog is super cute and just took him for a walk, and like your kids get off the school bus or something great happens, or shoot, maybe it's just Friday and you're like, man, gosh, I love my life. Can I challenge you in some way this week to say that out loud to yourself? Gosh, I love my life. You can add in, we can keep this conversation going. Gosh, I love my children. Gosh, I love my dog. Gosh, I love this university, this beautiful campus I get to walk around on. Gosh, I love the fact that I live in 2024 and I get access to incredible resources that are free through podcast apps. Gosh, I love learning. I love my life. Gosh, I love this sport. Gosh, I love myself and who God is showing me and the wisdom he's pouring out to me and the teachers he's bringing into my life. The other day I said that to myself, gosh, I love my life. And I was like, oh, that feels good. Like, it almost was like, can I say that? Like, it's allowed to be said. Gosh, I love this vacation, whatever, fill in the blank. And you would be amazed at the subconscious change that happens. Gosh, I love Mondays. Gosh, I love a good challenge. Y'all, it is crazy powerful what happens when you just decide to love what is. All right, so how do we love our future? I need you to be able to describe your future as well as you can describe your present. So that's the work I inferred to in our previous category of designing your life. In order to have a big life, a life that you love, a future that you love, you've got to know, my gosh, what is it that I want? What is epic to me? What is significant and fulfilling to me? And please don't be frustrated with yourself if this is beyond just one journaling session. This took me years of coaching and work, and it's still a continuous reflection. Every 30 days, I do deep dives in this stuff for myself. I'm constantly asking myself, oh, where is God leading me? What is bigger? Where am I limiting myself? Where am I putting a glass ceiling over my life or my impact or myself or my family that doesn't need to be there? And what we start doing is once you know a little bit of what you want, start describing it. I just did this actually this past week, and I went, I got into depth about how often my husband and I will take walks, what we're going to look like as we age, what my relationship with my children will be like, how often I will call them or text them, what the numbers in our bank account will be, what that's going to look like, what our total net worth is going to be. I started being able to describe my future as well as I could describe all of those same elements to you right now. That is what's going to make the future that you want actually a future that is attainable. And then number 2 is to track your momentum. And again, I'm going to point back to the same resource because I'm so proud of this new resource, the consistency and growth tracker. There's a section that we're calling it's your breakthrough brags, or another term I like to use is your champagne moments. But I've categorized in this spreadsheet, and it's a spreadsheet that when you type something in, the cell pops up in a color. So it's really satisfying and rewarding, but a way for you to see, oh my gosh, I am making change. This is an emotional breakthrough. I'm having a skill set breakthrough. I have a professional breakthrough here, a financial breakthrough, a relational breakthrough, a self-concept breakthrough. And you start tracking these little breakthroughs. Once you see that this originally white spreadsheet is actually becoming quite colorful, you are able to see what is invisible, which is, wow, I am making progress to the future that I want. You could actually see the roadmap that you have crossed. When you track your momentum, it's easier to stay motivated. It's easier to continue. Momentum builds upon momentum, and your confidence just goes up and up the more you prove to yourself that you really truly can do and create anything you want with your life. My confidence in my ability to create anything in my life has dramatically changed over the past 5 years, 10 years, simply because I've done this work and I've tracked the changes, and it's kind of mind-blowing when you go, wait a second, it is different. My life is different. I am different. My marriage is different. All for the better. And we are still just getting started. So track your momentum. And then number 3, to love your future. Once you know your future and once you have a system to track it, then you have to decide and believe that success is inevitable. That whatever your definition of success, whatever your definition of this future, it's inevitable. And so you can start saying, you could say, my future is inevitable. You could even say, maybe you have a specific goal. Maybe you want to make $1 million in your business. Making $1 million in my business is inevitable. Or you even can specifically write it out and go, I can't wait till the year that I make $1 million. I can't wait until we have that beach home of my dreams. We don't hope to have the dream home. We say, gosh, I can't wait for that to happen. I can't wait to become the type of person who generates the pathway to that. Maybe you want to land a TED Talk and you go, I can't wait to be a TEDx speaker. I believe it's inevitable. Now it might take me 10 no's, but I can't wait. When you start talking about your future as if your future is already done, the future that you want starts to happen. Because what happens is you're no longer wasting time in that, what can I do it? Can I not? Like maybe in the self-sabotage, you're like, well, it's inevitable. This is what I've decided it's possible. And once you believe you can, you can. Let's go back to the classic Henry Ford quote. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right. So let's believe we can. And again, this is all in the consistency and growth tracker. You can get that at trishblackwell.consistency. It will really help you make some decisions about what you want and practice believing in the inevitability of your future success, of the big life you're building, and of your ability to love yourself and to love your life. Not because you're successful in the eyes of others, not because you landed the hot boyfriend or the rich husband or the fill in the blank or the popularity contest or you hit 100,000 followers on Instagram. Like all of these external measurements that we think are going to make us happy. I mean, they're nice, but they're little blips of happiness, but that's not true happiness or true confidence. Let's close out with our power phrase pyramid. We are back to our power phrase pyramids after the last 2 weeks of Q&As. Here is our beginner thought. I am becoming someone who loves their life and all the ups and downs that make it up. I think that sometimes we think the only way for me to love my life is for everything to be perfect. But your life is a roller coaster. There's an up and there's a down, and what goes up must go down. So if we go look, like, I love my life with the ups and with the downs. I accept it all. I like it all. I want to be a person who is open to the full range of human emotions. I want the full human experience. Our medium thought is, I like my life and I like myself. I like my life. I like myself. This is good. The best is yet to come. Another way to say that is, I like my life. I like myself. And it's only going to get better. I am improving more and more every day. It's getting better and better every day. And then my top thought of our power phrase pyramid is, I love my life. I love my life. And I can't believe that it's just going to keep getting better and better. That's the one. That's where I'm at. I love that power phrase. I love my life. And I can't believe it's just going to keep getting better and better. I can say this about insert life for anything. I love my marriage and I can't believe it's just going to get better and better. I love my body and I can't believe that it's just going to get better and better. You might be like, Trish, you're in the 40s. What about when you're 70? Is it going to get better? Absolutely. Because my body is going to have so many more stories to it. So many more scars, so many more wrinkle representations of the joy that I've had. It's only going to get better and better as long as you decide that that's the narrative you're going to go through. If you guys hear me often talk about narrative intelligence, your ability to think about something in a way that serves you. And one of my most robust courses that is actually available if you join the College of Confidence, you can get it for free if you join the COC. But if you just want to get a taste of what my coaching is like, go ahead and check it out, the Narrative Intelligence Mastery. It's a 5-hour course where I'm going to walk you through exactly how to change your inner narrative. I'll link it in the notes for the show notes, but you can find it at trishblackwell.com/NQ. NQ for narrative intelligence. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure being with you here today. Thank you for being here on the podcast. If you haven't yet, I know that, by the way, 33% of you who listen to the show consistently haven't hit the follow button. Please hit that follow button. What that does is that helps the podcast algorithms say people like this show, and it will recommend the show to more people. So if this episode or any episode you've listened to has blessed you or encouraged you or made you smile, I ask that you follow, you leave a review to pay it forward for others and to encourage me. It helps me. And in the meantime, share it with a friend, send someone an episode, and I'll see you back here next Tuesday when we drop a new episode. Go out there today. Go be more of who God created you to be. Be you. Be free. Thanks for listening to the Confidence Podcast and allowing me to be your coach today in your life. If you love the show, please let us know by leaving a review in iTunes. Are you encouraged by what you learned? Share this episode with a friend and let us know that the show is changing your life by saying hi to us on social media at Instagram, Trish_Blackwell, or on Facebook, Trish Blackwell Coaching. Ready to take what I teach and really take it to the next level? Join us today in the College of Confidence. It's my group coaching program that you can join risk-free and cancel anytime. In the COC, you'll scale your confidence, your courage, and the changes you make in your life. It's the coaching support and community you've been looking for. Go to www.collegeofconfidence.com to get started. If you love the podcast, you will love the College of Confidence even more and see even more transformation in your life. Come and see for yourself. I'm cheering you on, friend. See you soon.